Yeah.
To the point that he was trending.
Yeah. It was. I went on Twitter and it was trending. It was ridiculous. So
No. I'm talking about the follow-up was trending. You know, when the trend was Dream did what?
Yeah, I know.
Johnny Somali should rot in a cell. Mizzy should rot in a cell. That dude who got shot should rot in a cell. Like all of these pranksters should rot in a cell. That's my firm opinion on these stupid type of pranks.
Everybody knows Faker. He is arguably the greatest League of Legends player of all time, and he's one of the best eSports players of all time. Bar none.
Hello and welcome to another episode of a weekly patch notes hosted and presented to you by the X to Skip podcast. This week we present to you episode 44, and with me is Kid Kojo. How are you doing?
I'm alive. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you very much. Tommy sends his regards to everybody. He unfortunately is not able to be here with us today due to family matters, but we wish him the best and we will have him back the following week. With that said, before we get into everything, like, subscribe, and comment. Join us for more. And without further ado, Kojo, is there any admin or announcements that you want to mention or get into?
Nothing from my side.
Nothing interesting that happened this week?
Not in terms of admin stuff, no.
All right, fair enough. Same with myself. Typical binging. Oh, wait. No. Let me give my typical answer. Peak Fiction Kaizen blessed us again this week. That's all I have to say for my announcements. All right, and then getting into the gaming news, let's begin. I shall start us off. So, it has been a very slow week this week in terms of gaming news, but I don't think that's any surprise given the fact that we've got Thanksgiving on this week of recording. So I suspect most people were off of work enjoying that family get together, blah, 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 on the American side. The rest of the world, well, I guess everybody took a break in terms of the gaming news. I know there was a lot of video game content coming out, but in terms of gaming news, it was a slow week. But I do have one thing I do want to mention, which has to do with Sony getting sued. Surprise! So, there is a UK case against Sony and the PlayStation Store. This came up a couple of weeks ago, but now we've learned that the case is being allowed to move on to the next stage of proceedings. To give a background, a consumer advocate group is accusing Sony of abusing its position and overcharging consumers on its digital store. This case has semblance to the Epic versus Apple case, where Sony charges developers a 30% fee to have their products on the PlayStation Store. And the consumer advocate group feels this causes prices to increase for consumers. Bear in mind that this consumer advocate group is representing 9 million customers in the UK. So, if found guilty, the lawsuit will cost Sony up to $7 billion. And personally, this is me hoping they are found guilty because I get where the consumer advocate group is coming from. However, a lot of people feel that this is a stretch in terms of it going through. Firstly, because of the Epic versus Apple case, and secondly, it goes back to the entire thing of people don't necessarily need to buy from the PlayStation Store. There are other options available too, but we'll see how this goes. Otherwise, that is the only gaming news from me. Kojo, how about you? Do you have anything you wish to say or share rather?
Just one thing, and it's not really anything important, but I'll just bring it up here. So, anybody remember Game of the Year contender Redfall?
Who can forget that?
Yep, you can't. So, They recently on November the 16th, they recently put out an update, game update 3, and introduced a new sniper rifle, which is called the Basilisk, and in a bunch of other changes and balance changes, heroes changes, quality of life changes, audio stuff, accessibility, a whole bunch of stuff. But the interesting part that they literally tucked away in the last, like literally at the end of the sentence.
Wait, let me guess.
Mm-hmm.
Is it what 60 frames per second? 60 frames?
No, dude, that update came out like 2 months ago or a month ago.
Okay. All right, then what is it?
So yeah, tucked away literally at the bottom of the last thing they said was that they are delaying. Well, not delaying. Well, they didn't say delay, but it is a delay for us. Well, not a delay, but they did say that they're going to share more news about new heroes coming out in 2024. Now, the Hero Pass, which cost an extra $30, it was a $30 upgrade to the base game, promised new characters and new content it didn't really give a time frame, but now they just said no new content is going to arrive until sometime in 2024. Now 2024 each year is a long year, 365 days, so they didn't share at what point in the year. It could come in December next year for all we know, but I just found it interesting that they literally very sneakily put it there at the bottom, and people noticed. Some websites picked it up, some content creators picked it up, but it might not be a big deal for some people. But I think this game needs content.
It's probably a big deal for like the 5 people still playing.
Yeah, 100%. I think this game needs, if it wants to pull a comeback, which it should.
No, it's not.
Let's be optimistic here, Maxwell.
I don't think the team is big enough for them to waste any more resources on this game. If it was a bigger team like Fallout 76, it would probably be one of those things of, this can't fail. Let's keep working on it until it works. In this regard, Amen. I think it's one of those things on, let's just take the L and learn our lesson for the next game we develop.
Amen. No Man's Sky was released and launched with 15 people working on it. And look how that game turned out today.
Yeah. But then those guys were not part of a bigger company. It was just them. So for them, they had to make it work or they would fail. Like, I forgot which game it is, but there's some game which came out, didn't do terribly well. This might ring your bell or somebody else's bell, but it came out, didn't do terribly well. And I believe it's part of a bigger company, and the bigger company is having reshuffles and stuff like that, layoffs and whatnot. So the company that developed the game has requested the bigger company to buy off the game so they can continue supporting the game. And they're working with the bigger company to see how they can pass over the IP back to the developers. Because the developers made the game, but they don't own the IP. Now the game is struggling, and the bigger company is like, yeah, let's move on from this, but the developers don't want to. They want to make it work. So they've requested to the company, la-di-da. I don't remember what the game was. I don't remember what the two companies were. I just remember that was a thing going on. And I was just like, hey, look at that. Some people caring about their work. But what you've just said has reminded me of all of that.
Right. Well, that does happen in the gaming industry quite a bit. But yeah, that is it for my news. Nothing, like you said, nothing really exciting. It's the end of the year. Things are winding down.
People are stuffing themselves with that Thanksgiving turkey. Gobble, gobble. So, with that said, let's move on to the gaming corner. Kojo, regale us with some news, if I use that term correctly.
Literally nothing. Tommy would be so happy because nothing of worth was released this week. Nothing. Absolute, F4. But actually, let me not say that. But yeah, anyway, so this is what was released this past week. First up, we have Jurassic Park Classic Games Collection coming out on the police. I think it's a collection of the old games.
Oh, those like Sega Genesis 2D.
Yeah,
Damn.
I think so. I could be wrong, but I think so. It says classic games collection. But yeah,
Well, they might as well release Pitfall.
you'd be surprised that they will. But yeah, so Jurassic Park Classic Games Collection released on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, PC, November 22nd, 2023. And then lastly, we have a game called SnowRunner, which was released a while ago, but it's making its appearance on Mac. So all you Mac players, Mac users, you have a new game to play, SnowRunner. Released on November the 22nd as well, 2023. Now, that is it for the gaming. No, that's it for the releases of the week. Now, I just wanted to talk about that is so Maxwell.
Mm-hmm.
We have had quality games like Baldur's Gate 3, Spider-Man 2. Am I missing anything? Diablo 4.
It was a good gaming year.
Yeah, Alan Wake 2 was a good gaming year. But then we've had games of superior quality like Redfall,
Like King
Kong, what's it called? Skull Island, Rise of Kong, and obviously Gollum. But we have a new contender. And you know what that game is, Maxwell? I think you've heard of it this week.
I believe I heard of it, but the name does not come to mind right now. But I do believe I did hear about it.
All right. Do you know what it has to do with?
Bro, if I could remember what it has to do with, I would have remembered the game itself.
I highly doubt that. Okay, fine. Let's test that theory. It has to do with zombies.
Give another clue.
Nope.
Give another clue.
Nope. Not happening. That's all you get.
That's not much of a clue. Anyway, what was it?
Okay, fine. It's not an original IP. It's based on an existing property.
Oh, what? Are you talking about The Last of Us upgrade?
No.
Then what? I thought you were going to go into talk about The Last of Us upgrade with that survival mode or that whatever mode it's called, which they're trying to claim makes it worth upgrading to it.
No. But foreshadowing. But no.
Then I don't know.
Of course you did. So that just proved my point. I win. Again, I see. Now, I'm talking about The Walking Dead Destiny. Now.
Yeah. No idea what you're on about.
Yeah, what? You haven't heard of this game?
No.
Bro, do yourself a favor. Once we're done, just go look at some gameplay of this game. And people are clowning this game. And I watched a content creator, a streamer play it to this patch for some reason. I watched her play it and I was like, my God, this game costs $50.
50?
Like,
and it's on what platform?
All of them. And I promise you, Maxwell, I promise you that Farmville on Facebook has better graphics than this game. I'm not even joking. But anyway, yeah, this is a next-gen. Well, it's on all platforms, but it is on the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series, so it's a next-gen game. Anyway, Walking Dead Destiny is based on the Walking Dead franchise, very popular comic book / TV series. And it came out recently, and people have been clowning it online. It has an interesting premise where it's called Destiny, so you flip-flop between characters, but you can change how things happen from the comic books and from the TV series. Like the TV series is based on the comic books and things happen a certain way, but the game is like, oh, but this could have happened instead. For example,
this sounds like a board game.
Yeah, actually, I was gonna say example, but even though it wasn't a trailer, I'm not gonna say it because for the 2 people that want to play this game, I'm not gonna say it. But yeah, so instead of one thing that could happen, like for example, this person surviving, someone else could have survived that didn't survive in the TV series, for example. So cool concept, but in practice, it is an absolute train wreck. It looks horrible.
We've got that game already. It's called Detroit Become Human.
Yeah, pretty much all. And what's funny is that people compare this game to a Telltale game. Well, then again, actually, they compare it to a Telltale game because Telltale actually did The Walking Dead.
Yeah, I just remember. Isn't that the obvious comparison? It's like how people were comparing that Batman game to the Arkham series.
Yeah, but then that one is underneath the same umbrella. So they made a Batman game before anyway, so that one is an easy comparison. But yeah, so people are clowning this game because, like I said, the cutscenes. People made fun of Redfall's cutscenes. I urge people to go and look at cutscenes from this game, and they will go back to Redfall and be like, "I treated you too harshly." But yeah, this game is horrible. And I understand people buying it for content, which they did, because they are content creators. They have disposable income. They can spend money on nonsense. But if you're a regular Joe like me, skip this one. Even if you're an ardent Walking Dead fan who loves the comic books of the series, there are like 3 different Walking Dead series, 4 actually, 5 actually, like
Bro,
4 or 5 that come to mind.
You lost people when you said it's $50. Who's gonna spend $50? If it was $20, that would be a different thing.
You'd be surprised at the money that people will spend on things, Maxwell. But yeah. So, yeah, I just wanted to bring it up, talk about it a little bit. It's horrible. It's trash. Yeah, that's pretty much it from the gaming corner. Maxwell, back to you.
All right. So from my side, there isn't anything to add to that. Like you previously said, slow week. Let's see how the other weeks go on. Hopefully, it doesn't get any worse than it currently is, but whatever. With that said, everyone, thanks if you're still tuned in. A reminder to subscribe and like the show. We are with you every single week, but let's keep things going. Onto the Twitch/YouTuber news. All right, Kojo, would you like? Okay, I'll let you start because usually you and Tommy are the ones with the tea. I've got a bit of tea myself, but I'll let you begin.
Actually, I want to add, what is your tea? Because it might be my tea as well.
Nah, if it's the same tea, I'll just add on to what you're saying.
Okay, I want to talk about Dream. Is it the same thing?
I was just going to brush up on Dreams. I wasn't going to, because the entire thing just looks so messy. I'm like, I don't want to dip my toe in. Rather, I don't want to dip my feet into this. I'd rather dip a toe into it. Because
yeah, neither do I.
At the time of recording, Dream is supposed to be coming up with his reply video. So by the time this goes up, who knows? Maybe the video would have come up. That's why I'm like, just want to mention the facts to the people, or some of the facts, because it gets murky, but not dive too deeply into it. So yeah, take it away. Say what you want to say about it, because for me, I was going to stay surface level.
No, the first time you brought this up to me, and I went and did some research of my own, and what came up is, at first thing I saw was this beef he had with his voice actor from
it was like a snowball effect.
Yeah.
To the point that he was trending.
Yeah. It was. I went on Twitter and it was trending. It was ridiculous. So
No. I'm talking about the follow-up was trending. You know, when the trend was Dream did what?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay, I thought you were meaning what started everything was what was trending. Right, go on. Let me not interject. Yeah. Let me not keep interjecting.
No, it's fine, because I don't. I'm gonna be jumping around. I don't. So please feel free to stop me and add. But yeah, it all started with this beef back and forth he had with this voice actor from Ninja Turtles, The Amazing World of Gumball, and Skull Island, the Netflix series called Nicholas Cantu. And he levied some accusations that Nicholas Cantu said that Nicholas assaulted Dream, and he recorded a video of him being verbally accostic to him, Dream, and to an Uber driver, I believe. And on Twitter,
I've got a question about that.
Yeah.
Because when I looked that up, right?
Yeah.
Dream was claiming, or maybe I misread his tweet, but he was claiming, no, I'm not the one in the car. Somebody else was recording. I just have the video footage. But I'm just like, huh?
That's interesting, because I didn't see that.
That's the part where I'm scratching my head, yet nobody seems to care for that. Then it looks like afterwards, he seems to say, yes, he is in the car. He's being assaulted and stuff like that, where I'm just like, okay, clearly Dream is not a really reliable source of information on proceedings, even though he was physically there. But yes, as you were explaining that he was being accosted, and the Uber driver as well, where name calling, homophobia, I mean not homophobia, phobia were being slung around.
Yeah, slurs and stuff like that. And apparently he was high and drunk at the same time. And Nicholas did apologize, apparently. Yep.
Yeah, no, people also dunking on Dream, saying, oh, so you just like hanging around with minors, getting them drunk and stuff like that. Where after looking at a Moist Critical video, him going around explaining the bearings of all this, because there's the bad content about how Dream behaves with minors, which I didn't know about. Because for me, I'm very dismissive of Dream. The first time he ever emerged, where I saw, oh, he's a Minecraft guy, I'm like, yeah, I don't care for this guy. Then I find out that he's a cheater, and I'm like, yeah, I definitely don't care for this guy. Then we had the whole face reveal where yeah, just please go on. There were slurs were thrown around. What's his name was drunk and high.
Yeah, but then apparently he eventually apologized on Twitter. Well, he apologized to Dream in DMs apparently, and people were obviously it was split, but people apparently rallied behind Nicholas and were against Dream. Yeah. So people were behind Nicholas saying, oh, Dream, you recorded this just to, or you have this footage just to blackmail someone and use it when it suits you and stuff like that. Or you're making someone look bad in their time of in a low point when they were, not in a good state type of thing.
And that's when his response to that was where he was saying, no, it wasn't me. Somebody else had the video or was recording something like that, and the stuff like that, where he was trying to defend himself from that accusation. And that's where I was scratching my head. Was like, so why would somebody else send you the footage of that? Like, what does that have to do with you? Because he was claiming a friend was the one who was in that situation, and he just so happened to have the content. But please go on.
So yeah, that's one thing that led to another thing, and that other thing was him being accused of inappropriate behavior with minors, which is not I don't want to say such things, but it's not an uncommon thing with Minecraft YouTubers or Minecraft content creators apparently. So there's been a bunch of stuff. I don't really want to go in depth to that stuff because
it's still ongoing. Yep.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say there's little to no value in putting in speculations of did it really happen, did it not happen. Let's just wait to see this upcoming video, see what his version of events are. I find it weird that he has to make a video about it. Why can't he just put out a tweet? But whatever, to each their own. This almost seems like one of those infamous, YouTube apologies.
No, the thing is, I actually prefer a video. A lot of people actually wait for this video because in the video format, you can pull up the end to everything supporting your point. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's waiting for that apology, or not apology, but everybody's waiting for that. What's it called? That video explanation. Because of all these places that I've seen, yeah.
No, I was just gonna say that my only disdain for videos is that people monetize those videos. So that's where I'm just like, whenever I see videos, I'm just like, Whereas tweets I prefer, although nowadays, because of Mr. Musk, you can monetize tweets, so even that can make you money. When in the past it was like, when you're releasing it on Twitter, it can't be monetized or anything like that. You take it or leave it. Although I suppose also Twitter in writing allows you to distance yourself when nobody can be looking at your facial expressions, tone of voice, and all of that different stuff. Like Pokemon.
But so we're waiting for Dream's reply video. When that happens, we'll update you guys. But anything you want to add, Maxwell?
No, that's pretty much it, really. So then, on my side of YouTuber content creator news, I want to talk about the TikTok prankster, Mizzy.
Oh yeah, him.
For those of you who don't know, recently got arrested and is being put in juvenile jail for 18 weeks. So, to give a brief background, right, on this whole thing, he's not really in the gaming sphere, so I shouldn't even be needing to bring him up. But me personally, I have a whole bone or a hate boner for prankster content creators because the content is so low tier, shitty stuff that I'm not a fan of prank style videos, regardless of what platform it is on, unless it's the type of pranks where, you know, everybody can come out of it laughing, where both parties can come out of it saying, oh yeah, that was a good one, ha ha ha, and then go on your merry way. But you're not embarrassing somebody, but you're not harassing somebody, but you're not threatening anybody, where you are not negatively impacting other people's quality of life. Those are the types of pranks I hate. So, with that said, there's a prankster on TikTok, an irritating guy who lives in England, in the UK, where his pranks don't even border. His pranks is straight up harassing people to make content out of them. Like an example is him jumping in strangers' cars. Literally, he opens the cars and sits there, and then when the drivers get upset, he's like, oh, I thought it was an Uber, and he starts a confrontation with them. Or breaking into people's actual homes and doing different shit like that. Like, it also reminds me of a whole Japan thing. What's his name? Johnny Somali and all of his nonsense and stuff like that. I hate pranksters. And I really hate that content creation sites like your TikTok, your YouTube, your Twitters and your whatnot are not clamping down on that content so that these people don't have any motivation to be making that type of content. However, in the absence of these platforms regulating these crap content, the weight of the law is beginning to clamp down on these people. Where this Mizzy guy, his infamy is to the point where he was in the UK, he was being brought onto TV programs to be interviewed and asked why he does all of this stuff. He was even on Piers Morgan's program where Piers Morgan was drilling him, saying, no, you are full of nonsense, you are just a parasite to society and all of this stuff. And eventually he gets arrested and he was claiming that, no, I was doing all of these kind of stuff just to show how lax the UK laws are, how UK laws are so weak, you can get away with whatever you want and all of that crap, nonsense crap. And when he was going to court, he wasn't showing any signs of, what do you call it, Kojo, when you show remorse? Like, isn't there a word for it? No. Like, there's remorse. A court word
guilt.
For it. No, not remorse, not guilt. Like, judges use a specific term when they are sentencing somebody, like the
clarity.
But there's a term for it that the accused has shown blah blah blah.
Lack of judgment.
Yeah. So basically, he showed none of that, where he was even making lies to the judge saying, oh no, I didn't know this or I didn't know that. Like, he was given a social media ban right after going to court. And within the same day, he went against the ban, where he uploaded content when he was not supposed to be even on social media and all of that. So he went straight back to court where his claim was like, no, my friend had my phone and they put up the content. It wasn't me. But basically, that has all accumulated to him going into jail for 18 weeks. And long story short is, I think this is good. I think if your YouTubes, your TikToks, your Twitter, your Facebook, your whatever social media are failing the general public in regulating this type of content, then I'm glad that laws are now beginning to step in to clamp down on these idiots and be like, okay, if you're gonna fuck around, you're gonna find out. I'm really glad for this. Johnny Somali should rot in a cell. Mizzy should rot in a cell. That dude who got shot should rot in a cell. Like, all of these pranksters should rot in a cell. That's my firm opinion on these stupid type of pranks. When it's the light-hearted ones where everyone's having a good time, by all means, let's spread the positivity around. Let's spread humor, good times, and have fun. Not this clickbaity attention-seeking nonsense. But yeah, that's what I just wanted to say. TikTok prankster Mizzy, not associated to gaming, but I feel like we all win when these idiots get ramifications coming around. All right, so before we move on to esports, Kojo, do you have anything you want to say, or we can move?
Okay, so one last thing. Does everybody remember? I say everybody like Tommy's here. Maxwell, I don't expect you to remember, but earlier this year, maybe halfway through June, July, I reported that a famous content creator, Fortnite content creator named Tfue, said he was taking a break.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure if you remember that.
Yes, nigga, I remember. The steroid user who tries to claim he didn't use steroids. I remember Tfue.
Yeah, that guy.
Or rather, let me not be generic. Let me say performance enhancers, because we don't know what specifically he used.
So he dropped a video November the 19th announcing his return to content creation. But not just that. He announced that he's returning to
a partnership
with
Kick.
Well done, Maxwell. I know you heard the story before.
I did. Although I didn't see any contracts or numbers thrown with this one. I just saw, he's returning with Kick.
Yeah, I didn't see any numbers either, but a lot of people are expecting that Kick paid him a bag to bring him out of retirement or something like that. So, yeah, he had some streams earlier. Like, he had his first stream on the 20th of November where he was at the beach giving out free money. And
I saw that. And people clowning him, saying dude comes back and starts mimicking Mr. Beast.
Yeah, I mean, he has money to give. That Kick bag, I guess. Excuse me. But yeah, that's pretty much it. He's back. People are happy. Came back just in time for OG Fortnite. And yeah, that's it for my content creator news.
All right. Thank you very much. So we close that section and we move on to the esports news. Do you have anything esport related to share?
I do. I have one thing, and I wish Tommy was here because this is his baby. It was his baby. This whole...
It's just gonna fly over my head.
No, it's not going to. It was Tommy's baby, and unfortunately he's not here to say it, but hopefully I do him justice. So Tommy, over the past few weeks, has been talking about League of Legends Worlds, the World Championships of League of Legends, and he's been talking about the teams that have been winning and losing and stuff like that. Well, the competition ended this past week. It's over now. And the team that came out on top is SKT or T1, the Korean team. And that team is headed up, I don't know if he's still a captain, but the most famous player on there is a player called Faker. Everybody knows Faker. He is arguably the greatest League of Legends player of all time. And he's one of the best esports players of all time. Bar none. Even I don't watch professional league or play league, but I know Faker. Everybody knows Faker. And to the point where he's...
found out about him this year through you guys. I didn't know him.
Well, yeah, that's to be expected. But yeah, to the point where he's nominated in the Game Awards for Best Esports Athlete. But the nominations came out before... Pardon?
I'm saying he will probably win it.
He will, but the nominations came out before he won Worlds, though. A week before. So I don't know if... Because people already voted, so I don't know if...
Because the voting closed.
It's not that it's closed, but I'm sure like a mass exodus of people already voted when the awards came out. You know what I'm saying?
I guess so. But at the same time, you could counter-argue and say that after his win, it might have flooded more people to be like, nah, this guy deserves it.
Yeah, 100%. And I'll argue and say that even before he won it, he was going to win it anyway.
Yep, after I saw that video of him landing in China. Was it China or was it Korea where he was getting swarmed?
I believe it was China.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was just like, gee, but...
Yeah. Like, everybody knows Fake and everybody knows he's been like to the point where I remember I was watching people randomly just vote for, the Game Awards. I watched, what's his name, Moise Critical and Luke Stevens and a bunch of other people. Not all of it, just to see certain votes. And I watched Asmongold. And when Asmongold got to the best esports player, Faker was the first person he saw. And as soon as he saw Faker, I was like, "Yep, nope, I'm voting Faker. There's no other competition. It's Faker. Like everybody knows Faker, even if they don't know what he's done, they're gonna vote for him because they know him. You know what I'm saying? Like he's that big. So yeah, so they won. They beat Weibo Gaming 3-0, and this is T1's fourth World Championship, and also Faker's fourth World Championship. So Faker has done it, and he's considered now. Well, people are saying he's the greatest of all time, but they've been saying that even before this. So this has pretty much cemented him as the greatest of all time, the greatest League of Legends player of all time, and arguably, like I said, the greatest esports player of all time. In my opinion, he is the most well-known esports player of all time currently, in my opinion.
You just gave me Vietnam flashbacks, where I just realized it's that time of the year again where we get world premiere.
Yeah, suck it up. But yeah, hopefully, Tommy, I did you right. This was Tommy's team. He was rooting for them, so I'm happy. Hopefully next week he can say a few words and fill in the blanks I missed.
Right? You're making it sound like he was part of a win.
Hey, he was, man. He was really rooting for these guys. But yeah, that's it for my esports news.
Well, next time Chelsea wins the Champions League, I expect you to give me like 15 minutes segment to just wax lyrical about the team then.
I will.
All right. So with that said, we go into discussions. Do you have anything you wish to discuss, Kojo?
Nope, not today. You?
Let me give it a think. Well, the only thing that comes to mind, but it's not really much of a discussion, it's just an interesting point to talk about, is just how the Witcher author, how he what's the word I'm looking for? Not decries, derides.
Denounces.
Would we go as far as saying denounce?
Okay, maybe not denounce, but he's a hater. I don't know.
Yeah, how he hates on the Witcher video games, where to me, I scratch my head and I'm like, it doesn't make sense to me, where this gave you money. Probably the most money you've ever had in any segment. You were even bitter to the point of how much money it was making without you, that you demanded to get money from it, and CD Projekt Red were good enough to say, all right, cool, let's renegotiate a new contract, because they could have just said, like normal corpos do, like, nah, F you signed it away, we're good. So you decry the thing that wins you your bread, and you dismiss video games, where he was optimistic. Yes, this came from a PC Gamer tweet, where he was quoted as saying that he doesn't much, more or less, this isn't verbatim, this is just more or less what he said, the spirit of what he said of, he doesn't much care about the video games side of The Witcher, but with Netflix, he wished Netflix would have listened to him about the ideas and suggestions he wanted to give. They didn't listen to him. And he thinks that was a missed opportunity, where I'm just like, bro, you are such an ass. I've never played a Witcher game, and I know about Witcher, and I knew about the world and all of that stuff because of the game. And I even feel that the Netflix series came up because of the game, not because of the books. What would you say, Kojo, as a fan, as somebody who's read the book, as somebody who's played the game? What do you think brought about the Netflix series?
Well, I mean, the Netflix series is based mostly on the game. It's based mostly on the books.
Yes, I get that. But do you feel that without the existence of a game that we would have still had a Netflix series, or do you feel the game was a big push for them to say, yeah, because I understand it being based off the books, because the games are its own thing, so they can be like, well, the book hasn't been explored and we've got the source material right there, let's explore that. So to me, it would be an easy avenue to just redo the books, as opposed to saying, we've got this world, let's make up our own thing. They're not at that point yet. They're not like at the point of Game of Thrones and other stuff where they can start creating their own version of things, because they know the popularity is there. They still need to test the water. So the safest way is taking from content that already exists.
The fans of the Witcher books and watchers of the series will will laugh at everything you just said. No offense, because of the nonsense they've done with the series.
No. I get that on the series they drifted off, and that's part of why Henry Cavill left, because he had arguments
Allegedly.
with.
I believe
Allegedly.
it, but like we have to put allegedly, because it's
That, like, allegedly Henry Cavill left because he couldn't see eye to eye with the writing staff, where the writing staff kept trying to put their own twists and things like that, and people even felt that season 3 that fell off hard, where there were question marks in season 2, but people were willing to go along, and season 3 is where it fell off. Am I right?
Yep. Yeah, you're pretty much right. I dipped out of season 2. I didn't even bother with season 3.
Yeah, so I also have big question marks, and I don't understand why they decided to go off route, that it was right there. You know, the layup was set up and they just had to dunk it, or whatever the basket terminology is for the layup. It was right there. Everything was right there for them to succeed, and they decided to go in different path. I don't know why they did that, and I think that's what the author is complaining about, that they should have hear him out. You know, like in other creations, Harry Potter, they had J.K. Rowling right there to be given advice. Game of Thrones, did they have the author around to be giving advice, or would they go to him for advice?
That I don't know. I'm not a Game of Thrones guy.
But I know, what's that show called? Percy Jackson. After the flop of the movies with the Disney one, the author is directly involved in creating what he wanted it to be. So when you are reinterpreting a material that already exists, it's a no-brainer to get the author in. One Piece, they brought in Oda, although I suppose One Piece is so big that they were too scared to try and piss off fans, because they'll probably be getting death threats. So then it's like, you know what? Let's get the mangaka, and anything we do wrong, people can't hate on us, because he was there to give his approval or to denounce it. Stuff like that. So I don't know why they didn't do that. But I say all of that to circle back to, what is up with this guy? Like, what is his hate boner with the Witcher games doing well? I heard some people claim that supposedly he always wanted to be a sci-fi writer, and he never really cared much for the Witcher, especially the fantasy series. But since it hit off and started making him money, he's kept with it just for the money. But him personally has always wanted to do something in the sci-fi niche, allegedly. But with that allegedly said, I can see how that works. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Like, if you made something where you're not that proud of it and it started making you money, would you be dismissive of it?
No.
Like, you could be like, yeah, it's not what I wanted, but hey, man, I'm glad that people love it, and man, the money is good. Because, like, not only do you dismiss it, but you even had the gall to go and complain that you want a new negotiated contract so you can be getting some of the gaming, but you don't care about the game. Like, that's a slap on the face of people who love the game, is it not?
Yeah.
It's like that thing of, I think it's when you have celebrities, especially musicians, it's like when you love somebody's music, but then the artist doesn't care for their fans.
Yeah. It sucks, but yeah, it's actually interesting, because when this whole negotiation thing was going on, like he said he wanted more money, Dmitry Glukhovsky, who most people wouldn't know his name, but most people will know what he's done. He wrote the Metro series, which the video game series Metro is based on. You know Metro, Maxwell?
Oh yeah, I know. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Wait, when you say you wrote the Metro series, are you saying the book, or he wrote the Metro series for the game?
He wrote the books.
Okay, I didn't know it was based on the book.
Russian author whose work has been adapted into games. He came out, I don't know if that's the reason why he came out, but then he did, when what's his name, Andrei Sapkowski, who's the Witcher author, when he came out and said, you know, he wanted more money, Dmitry called him an old fool. It just, I thought was funny. Dmitry, you know, he criticized him heavily, and everybody pretty much agreed with what Dmitry was saying. So yeah, I just wanted to add that.
Like, what was the context of him calling him an old fool? He's an old fool. Why?
because he wanted more money. Remember, like he was asking for $16 million. This is Andrew Sapkowski. He was asking for $16 million from CD Projekt Red, and of other things, and because they paid him $10,000 upfront, and Glukowski said, look, without the gaming franchise, the Witcher series would never have reached this level. So he doesn't understand why Sapkowski is just raising a whole issue.
Yeah, no, so I'm still trying to understand the context of the old fool, because is he because for me, I understand why he's raising issues, saying, I want more money. He's like, wow, I didn't think it would be this big. Now I see how big it is. I want more money. I would think that's the natural expected thing to do. So when he's calling him old fool, is he saying you're an old fool because you didn't have the vision when you first made the first agreement? Or is he calling him an old fool because now he's suddenly coming around and saying, oh, I missed out on this. Nah, make me a part of this?
Maybe it's the latter, because he went on to call him an ungrateful schmuck. Maybe.
Don't get me wrong, I'm agreeing with everything the dude is saying, but I just don't understand where it's coming from.
No, he was interviewed. It was an interview, and I think it just came up in that interview.
All right, cool. No, that's all I wanted to say on the matter as well. With that said, we can round things off with a news blitz. It's going to be a short news blitz, as there's not really much to say given the nature of the week we've been having. But pretty much, first off, I want to mention that there are more layoffs occurring at studios under the Embracer Group, as reportedly 15 games have been shelved amidst the reshuffles. And then lastly, Ned Luke, who's widely known as the voice actor for Michael in GTA 5, got swatted this week while hosting a Thanksgiving stream that had to be cut short as he had to go and deal with the fallout. Fortunately, on his side, the police didn't come at his door and we didn't get in a whole scene or anything like that. What simply happened that he received a phone call, he answered the call, he realized what was going on, that he was getting swatted or swat, whatever the correct term or pronunciation is. And so he went out of his house to deal with it, and it got dealt with after a couple of hours. Then he came back online just to let people know what was going on, and that this is a common occurrence for him, where there are people who like to swat him. And that's pretty much it from the news blitz. Kojo, any final words, knowledge, information you want to drop?
Yeah, two things. Just to add on to your swatting. I wasn't going to bring this up. I think it happened like last week or a week ago, but as soon as you brought up the swatting thing, Luke Stevens, who was a YouTube or Twitch streamer, YouTube content creator, he's a gaming content creator. He also got swatted recently, and I watched the video from explaining it. Pardon?
I'm surprised. I have a hate-love relationship with that guy, because sometimes he has insightful comments and outlooks. Other times he's just full of shit.
Yeah, he is. Sometimes his attitude just rubs me off the wrong way. And the things he says just rubs me off the wrong way. But other times, like you said, because I just happened to catch a stream when he was going through the Game Award nominees, and he said something, and it was the first time I was like, bro, nobody else has this take except maybe you have this take, Max. So I don't know. We haven't really discussed this, really, kind of. But I was like, dude, I haven't heard anyone else have this take, and that take is that remakes should not be nominated for Game of the Year. He had that take, and I was like, brother.
We briefly spoke about that, remember? Casually.
Yeah, we did, but I don't remember which side you aired on.
I aired on the side of, I'm not a big fan of remakes getting nominated. I feel remakes are cheap nominations, that if we have a lackluster year, let's go for the remakes. However, if we have options, a remake making it in over something else which was pretty good is a slap in the face. Like how we have Resident Evil remake. To me, that's a slap in the face of things like, wait, was Jedi Fallen Order in it?
Survivor. No, it wasn't. It was this year, but it wasn't.
It wasn't in it.
It wasn't in the. It wasn't in this category, no.
Because I feel like Survivor, early version of Diablo 4, Hogwarts Legacy. Yeah, things like that, where it's just like, because I guess that if it wasn't Resident Evil, it probably would have been Dead Space. It wouldn't surprise me. Or am I confusing Dead Space? Did Dead Space come out last year? No, it came out this year, right? February.
It was this year.
Damn, man. You've had a stacked year.
Yeah. But yeah, so I just wanted to mention... Yeah, continue.
No, I'm saying your other thing, because you said you had two things you want to mention, Luke Stevens.
Yeah. So just to bring this whole home tangent, yeah, Luke Stevens got swatted. His story was wild, excuse my language. Like, his was bad. And I urge people to go watch his video on it. He explained he didn't want to talk about it, but word got out. So he decided to just make a video about it to address it just one time and then move on. I don't want to go into detail because we're wrapping up the episode, but it was bad. It was actually pretty bad. I'm not even going to lie. But yeah, I urge people to go watch his video. Second thing is what Maxwell actually alluded to earlier, and I said foreshadowing, is Naughty Dog has finally confirmed that they're releasing a Last of Us Part 2 remaster for the PlayStation 5 for some reason.
All right, since we are on that topic, I might as well also mention that the narrative lead for the Gears of War series has left the coalition and has joined Santa Monica Studio as the narrative lead for their next upcoming game. People are unsure if it's an expansion to God of War or if it's Santa Monica Studios' new game, which we are yet to know what it is. But personally, I'm hoping it's for that new game because I'm of the opinion that this guy's narrative work is not that great. Gears of War under the coalition has sucked, and people who feel otherwise can fight me. I'm ready. Meet me in the parking lot. It's going down. But so I wouldn't want this guy to put his hands on God of War. Rather, put his hands on a new IP, which I have no feelings towards. Hell, put his hands on, what's his name? Barlog's IP, the one he's working on. The sci-fi thing.
Allegedly.
It probably is sci-fi, because look at the type of story Gears of War was.
Yeah, I know.
Because God of War is mythology, history, and stuff like that. Gears of War is more post-apocalyptic. So I could see a sci-fi fallen world type of order type of thing popping up from them. I just hope it's not space.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, probably like 5 years.
Yeah, but to just quickly go back to my Last of Us thing, Part 2 Remastered is coming with a no-return roguelike mode, lost levels with dev commentary, guitar free play, graphical enhancements, DualSense integration, and more stuff.
Skins too.
Oh yeah, that stuff too. Yeah, cool stuff.
All right, and that wraps up the weekly patch notes. Thank you everybody for listening, especially those of you who stayed out for this long. One final reminder to like the episode, subscribe if you haven't already. We'll catch you next week. Sayonara. Thank you again. I was your host for this episode, Max. We'll see you again next week. Cheers.